What up, what up, what up? The boys are back. You know, the last time we did this 4-way pod in Vail, I thought it would be like chaotic and everyone would be like, to force too many people. I think they really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
Do you think that was because of 4 people, or do you think because David specifically?
Because David was getting a lot of shit on those comments, I remember.
Wait, was he?
Right?
I think
because Joe's a MAGA thumper and you're a Kanye thumper, dude.
Oh, yeah, remember that conversation?
Bro, we should just go straight in to Kanye wearing a black KKK outfit for an interview and wearing a iced out swastika necklace.
I feel like Max just invites me on after Kanye does some wild shit, just to be like, defend Kanye.
Well, here's the thing. Joe has recently said, he's like, bro, I don't know if I can defend Trump anymore after all the stuff he's done.
No, I'm good.
I mean, how much does Kanye have to do for you to be like, all right, it's kind of...
Hey, I'm not gonna...
So that I saw that clip, but that was like a recent clip. Like, he just did that?
Yeah.
Wow. That was like ages ago.
What jeweler do you go to? You're like, dude, can you ice this out? He's like, you sure,
Hey,
man?
dude, for enough money, you can do anything. Do we think that Kanye is just doing this shit to hype his album or his album?
His album.
Or do we think that he like genuinely is like a Nazi?
No, I think...
Let the thumper talk, dude.
Yeah.
I'll thump some Kanye for you. I think Kanye's the type of guy who's... What's that? It's like a Dave Chappelle line where he's like, if they're Italian, it's a mob. If they're black, it's a gang. If they're Jewish, like it's a coincidence and don't talk about it. Meaning that like anti-Semitism is always that one thing that like, you're not supposed to touch it. Maybe it's because Jewish people own a lot of the media and stuff. But I think Kanye is the type of guy who's like, oh, I hit a string doing this. Like people really don't like that I'm doing this. I'm just going to double, triple, 5x down on this. I think Kanye, he likes the attention, and he found that by doing this, people can be the most outraged. And if that's like, for him, that's, I don't know. Something about that he gets drawn to. I'm not defending it. I think that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It struck a
some
deep
people
chord.
just like to strike the chord.
You think he's big braining this?
Well, doesn't he have an album coming out?
No,
like
I wouldn't
soon?
say that it's a big brain. I think that's just like some personalities like to get under your skin and want to do it as much as physically possible.
That way?
And we'll keep doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like an extreme version of it, but yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's what it
But he
is.
does have an album coming out.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does have an album.
So I feel like
coming
he's just trying to get some publicity for that.
Nah, he's done things like this in the past. I don't know that this one's gonna help him get that many more like downloads or streams on the album, but I mean, I'll listen to the album. But
I mean, I definitely think it's polarizing. But anyway, what a way. Man, sometimes I stutter a lot.
Yeah.
What? Don't make fun of people with speech impediments, bro. What a way to start the pod. Why do you guys enjoy coming on this podcast? I mean, you could be anywhere in the world right now.
I
You choose.
get to see y'all once a week, you know?
Yeah, that's my reason.
Best reason.
This is the most we've ever hung out.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the pod. Yeah, the pod has brought us back together.
I've always thought that I'm somewhat of the glue in a lot of different groups that I go in. That if I was to leave, you would never see each other again. Y'all would never hang out again. I'm the glue.
We would.
Rarely.
Yeah,
rarely.
once a year.
it would be a lot less. It'd be a lot less.
Do you like going on podcasts? Do you like podcasts?
This is the only one. I went on Shawley's. This is technically the only one I've really ever been on. So,
If I like the person on the podcast, yeah, you know.
You like me?
Yeah.
have you been on a pod where you didn't like the other person? I mean, you don't have to name it. I'm just saying, like, have you been on a pod where it's like really awkward and you're like, fuck, why'd I do this?
Maybe one.
Yeah.
Maybe one.
Max, you?
Well, the only
Hey, wait. You're not going to get in trouble for this. You've done 111?
This is 111.
111 episodes. Who was the most awkward fucking podcast that you've done?
Riff-raff, right?
Yeah, he's not going to
I mean, you're not like
that.
under an NDA. It's not going to matter.
He's not going to answer at all.
Okay, not awkward. Who was like the least like
Like that I was trying to pull
yeah, like
questions
who
out
was the
of?
one that you were like, shit, this is like hard. Like you're not helping me at all.
Watching that riff-raff one looked tough.
Did we say it's him? Would you say that was like the hardest one you had to do?
It was more because I was like asking No, man, I don't know. Everyone's been pretty good. The riff-raff was more, it just wasn't what I expected. But everyone's been pretty good in terms of like being really reciprocal when I asked questions. The most interesting podcast I've ever been on, though, was the fact that I've been on Graham Steffens twice and he never posted the podcast.
Either time?
This is what happened.
I
filmed,
watched a video of his right before I came here.
Really?
Yeah.
About him talking to the Fed
Oh,
rep?
wait, he had you on again?
So here's what happened is I went to his house to film a podcast for this show, went out, right? And then he was in Houston with his co-host Jack and his filmer at the time, Alex, I think his name was, and he was like, "Hey, we're filming a bunch of podcasts in Houston. Like, people really recommended. Like, do you want to film one? And like, can we film it at your studio?" This is when I was at Alphaland, and I was like, "Sure, come on over." So we filmed that podcast. This is like July of 2 years ago, right? July of like 23. And film a podcast, and then like a week later, he's like, "Oh, like something happened with like the audio, like something got corrupt, like the file messed up." He's like, "We'd be willing to come out again to film." And I was like, oh, "Okay, cool." But I was like, "Actually, I'm going to be in Las Vegas like next month in September of 2 Septembers ago." I was like, "I'm going to be out there for this festival. I can just come to your house and film." It's even better, perfect. So I go to his house. We filmed for like 2.5 hours. And then he even had to get up and go to he had to get on a flight. So I just stayed and continued to pod with his other co-host, Jack. They're asking me a lot of questions about like really specific like lifting stuff. And I was like, I don't know if I'm the guy to like answer all these questions, but it was like, what is your exact workout team? But I really enjoyed the podcast, but then it never came out. That was 2 years ago. And I'm like, bro, I filmed I sat for like 5 hours of my time and never uploaded the podcast. Why?
Interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Why?
I don't know.
Huh.
I'm kind of upset.
All right.
Okay. You're uploading this one?
Yeah, I upload all of them.
Maybe.
One time Joe and I did one that didn't get uploaded.
I know.
Yeah.
There's some technical difficulties.
Yeah, all right.
What
Graham Stephan in us.
I know.
dude, should we just you didn't like starting off the podcast political last time, but I feel like we got to.
Yeah, these tariffs are pretty fucking wild. It's wild how quickly they're already going to be impacting Outfleet. Like they're already impacting Outfleet. Any order, essentially an order from China coming in, let's say that was going to cost $100,000 all in, like we're adding a $34,000. Like now with these new updates, it's $134K, right? Just with all the additional tariffs, it's coming out to like that much more substantial of an amount. So like a lot of small, not even small, just a lot of clothing brands with really tight margins that didn't have this projected in their cash flow, it's going to fuck them up. Yeah, and so if you can't pay that 134 because you were projecting 100 and like you are just tight with your cash, they're going to hold your items at customs. They're not going to get released because you won't be able to pay them.
And then you're going to get like holding fees.
So I think everything that's just like coming in right now, that I think it's going to be maybe a 10%, 15% of whatever's coming might end up getting held. That's like just a random guess for me, but it is crazy that like, I mean, we have our budgets, our everything all lined out for the year. So like that already impacts a lot of our shit because we're not talking $100,000 order. We're talking like 7-figure orders. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So if you like had an order on the water and it was like halfway here, Trump puts these tariffs in and just like, and it's like, oh, your order's coming in a week and a half, and now it's 30.
Now it's 34% more.
Well, tariffs don't start till tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's the first part. The big one's next week Wednesday. Like the 34% for China is next week Wednesday.
Oh my gosh,
The
bro.
thing is, like with the changes of all these, like the dramatic tariff moves, there's not resources going back into America at the same time to be like, for example, like clothing like manufacturing.
No,
we need machines. We need all that
you can't
here.
even
We don't
source
have it
the
here.
fabrics
No,
that we source in the States.
not
I think
at all.
3% I saw, it might have been a real joke.
3%.
3% of the clothing that's purchased in the U.S. is made in the U.S. There's not the infrastructure doesn't exist. So the thing that really bothers me about the tariffs is that Trump's whole argument is like, we're in a trade deficit and countries are taking advantage of us. Do you know what he means by a trade deficit? Mm-hmm. It means that if like I was like, Joe, I'll pay you $50 for that sour strip shirt, and I give you $50, and Joe gives me the shirt, that'd be me afterwards say, Joe, I'm pissed off. I'm in a trade deficit with you now because like I gave you the cash and you gave me the product. It's not. It doesn't mean countries are taking advantage of us. It just means that we're the consumer and we're paying countries for the imports.
No, I think the reciprocal tariff's the part that he's trying to.
Well, so
that is them taking advantage of us.
Okay, so the only way that this is a smart move is if it's temporary and if he negotiates the tariffs down that other countries have on the States. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a loss.
It's just not looking like that right now.
Was the idea? I'm going to throw out random numbers. Let's just say.
But otherwise, it just hurts us. It's going to cause more price inflation. That's going to keep interest rates higher. That's going to keep stocks down. That's going to keep. And for us, all of us in this room have done well enough that we can afford more expensive clothes or groceries. But for most people, it's going to lead to some pretty significant price increases.
Is the concept, I'm going to use random numbers, like if it was, hey, China was charging us like 10%, we're going to hit them with 30 so that they can negotiate it, so theirs is now 5. Is that like the idea is like we're going to...
That's the hope, I guess.
Well,
It's a bold strategy,
The easiest
Cotton.
way to like put it in perspective. So, Europe ships. We're the biggest market for, I think, Porsche, Mercedes. I don't know about BMW, but we're the biggest market, right?
We're 30% of their
Yeah, Porsche. We are the biggest buyer of Porsches.
Yeah, America goes hard
in the world. So when Porsche ships their car into the U.S., we charge them 2.5%. But when we ship one of our cars there, a Ford or a Tesla or anything like that, it's 10%.
Okay.
Why? Right? So what happens is like Elon was forced to build a factory in Europe because it's cheaper to build the cars there. So now that's why like Fords and stuff are so rare over there. It's not because no one wants them, maybe, but it's more so because they're so expensive because there's a VAT. So there's a 10% import tax. And then there's a VAT on top of it. So your F-150 in Europe ends up being $180,000. No one's paying that. And then what happens is it forces the factories to build there. So Ford, I think, builds some cars in Europe. Tesla builds a lot of cars in Europe now. So now they get the factory, they get the jobs, and they're being produced in-house. Meanwhile, the U.S. gets fucked. We take all their cars, no problem.
Well,
Everyone here has a European car. We buy all these cars from Europe. Meanwhile, if we want to sell a car to Europe, not possible unless you come here and build them here. So they're doing the same thing that we're saying you got to do to us. It's just we've always been okay with it because it makes everything cheap.
Yeah, the issue is that you can't flip a switch on all that
No,
infrastructure.
I know.
Yeah,
And
also,
and Europe's not even that bad of an example because it's 10%.
Yeah.
Look at fucking Korea, where like we take their products at a 2.5%. They take ours at 85%. It's not even fucking close.
Any products with nylon are fucked.
you're even higher than cotton. Yeah,
What I don't know, I guess they look at like a chain because what I saw, so like Vietnam has already come forward and said like they want to make a deal with the U.S. for no tariffs. So then I'm like, could you have your fabric shipped from China to Vietnam and then from Vietnam to the U.S. and get around it? Like, I don't understand how, like, could you technically do that?
Well, you could switch to a clothing manufacturer in Vietnam,
but they're buying their shit from China anyways.
well, and
Wait,
also
pause.
Yeah.
Switch your clothing to a new manufacturer. Just like
No, same manufacturer.
all I'm saying
Just
is
real quick.
All I'm saying is
That's not simple, of course.
the caliber of that task.
Yeah.
Yes.
For an everyday business owner.
And everyone's going to be trying to do it.
Just switch it to here, or just switch factories. Like, you understand.
Well,
That's-
Vietnam's not going to be able to absorb all the Chinese business either, anyways.
That's
like,
my thing,
yeah,
is it
2
Chinese
years of
products through
samples,
another
like, no
country?
way.
So what if China's the only one that doesn't play ball? Everyone else is good. We drop tariffs to everyone but China. Can we buy Chinese products through another country and get around it? Or
You're
is it
trying
still
to
like,
triple stamp a double stamp.
that would be my question of like, how do you...
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Then your timeline of everything gets adjusted by next year.
I get both.
Yeah.
It's very hard to defend, but I do get...
I get the
10 years from now, it may have been the best thing that we've ever done, but the problem is Trump won't be in the office. So what I'm scared of is that we deal with this fucking immense pain for 3 years. We finally figure out, okay, hey, we're doing it right. Income taxes come down. There's more jobs available in the U.S. Everything's booming.
He's not even talking actively about bringing income taxes down
That's
from this.
part of it. My point
you
is,
really
even
think
if,
you really think he's going to
even
bring
if all of that happens, my fear is then a Democrat wins in 3 years and undoes
That's just
all
worse
of it.
fear.
Like
if he undoes all of that, then you're like, oh, we go back to China for cheap labor. Let's do it.
Yeah,
and then
but
it's like we went through this for no reason.
I feel like in 2 or 3 months, either they'll be negotiated down and the tariffs will be gone, or the thing is, if every other country declines to negotiate the tariffs, he still might have to drop them just because it's going to be hurting the U.S. so much.
The problem is we have to. I think
We don't
get away
have
from the stocks and stuff. No, we do. Dude, there's an epidemic of there's no fucking jobs. There's no high paying there's no work in the US. And the more that we let jobs go out, like what are people gonna do? Everyone's gotta be government subsidized because like we're to the point now, if you look at manufacturing in the US over the last 50 years or whatever, it's like 2% of what it used to be. And we haven't replaced those jobs with something else. So it's like low income jobs in the US are just disappearing left and right. And like what are these people gonna fucking do? And now you have the AI epidemic coming in, where AI is taking all this shit over.
That's the issue, though. If these things, let's say car manufacturing plants are built in the U.S. over the next few years, how many jobs? Like, what percentage of that is going to be automated and not even actual employees anyway?
Subsidized by the U.S. government because of the money we take in. That's what other governments have already done. Like Chinese labor, it is cheap, but more so, the Chinese government pays a shit ton of money to subsidize products to make it so cheap because they get so much on the tariffs. We got to do something.
Trump's gonna have to really put money back in our pockets to justify
Okay, so
if
this is
the tariffs stay.
But real quick, you got to look at like last time. Well, I'll clarify. So last time we talked about like an average American, like 401k is not their biggest fucking concern. And I pulled up on my phone that the average savings account for 2-income household was $50,000. I fucked up because I was looking at average, and the problem with that is you have people that have $80 million in their savings account, and it fucks that average way off.
So it's the median
is $8,000 in savings and assets across 2-income households. So one, these people don't give a shit about the stock market doesn't matter to them, but product prices do. But also, something has to happen because like look at my cousin, does very well. He and his girlfriend are both making money, and he was telling me the other day like, I can't afford a fucking house. I can barely afford rent. It's like we can't continue down this road where like your average job does not support in the U.S. anymore life. I mean, average rent in Houston, which is a shithole, is $3,000 for a shitty apartment. No one can afford houses right now. I mean, like the American dream is dead unless we do something about it.
But this
and everyone in this room doesn't have this problem, but the average American does. The average American got out of school with $60,000 in college debt, can't find a fucking job. If they do, it's a low-income job. They never move out of that position. They can't afford a house because the interest rates are 8%.
Joe,
they can't afford Chipotle because a bowl's $20. Like literally, it's a never-ending fucking rat's nest that we got to do something about.
This is going to make it worse, though.
For the time,
I don't know.
The foreseeable future, yep.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And because of the issue of Republicans versus Democrats, it's likely just to be a net negative, even if just for that alone. That policy is not going to be.
I'm
sustained.
sure y'all saw this, but like it's funny now because like they're showing all these clips. So 20 years ago, all the Democrats are saying exactly what Trump's saying now. Nancy Pelosi gave like a 2-hour speech about how like we need reciprocal tariffs. It's not fair what they're doing to us. And McCain was the one arguing it, which is a Republican. So it's all
because Republicans tend to be less tax. But this is just a tax on trade. Less taxes, less regulations, more free market. So it is an odd thing. I'm also just a little frustrated with Trump lately, man, because even with Doge, right? Last time we spoke, we were all in was it Colorado? Yeah, Vail, and we were all like, "Oh, this is awesome." They're identifying these different ways to cut. But then it was what 3 weeks ago they passed this continued resolution to keep funding all of these exact things that Doge identified as waste. And the one congressman, Thomas Massie, he's a Republican, technically he's libertarian in Kentucky, who stood up to Trump and said, "Yo, what the fuck are we doing? Like, when this means you're going to keep funding the government and even increase the funding of the government to all of these different sectors you said you want to cut with Doge." And Trump threw a tantrum and put out this long tweet. We have to primary Thomas Massie and get him out of Congress when he's the only one that's actually trying to like hold Trump accountable to the things he said he's going to do. So I'm just a bit frustrated with Trump in general.
But the alternative to that was shut down the government. And
no, the alternative is to break it up into different spending bills.
I'm saying in that moment.
Like, no, because that's the argument they've
kept
used
it all the way to the end.
But that's the argument they've used the last 10, 20, 15 years. If they were ever going to change the funding of the government and reduce the size of the government, they need to shut down the government or to introduce spending bills that make sense.
Expand on so 3 weeks ago, what exactly happened with all the Doge cuts that have been set so far?
So nothing's actually cut. Doge has identified things that they should be cut, but the Congress passes these spending bills that decide what parts of the government get what funding. So it was time for the next one, and what happens is a lot of senators they'll say, okay, we're not going to vote for this, and if they can't agree on it, technically there's a government shutdown. So they always use this fear that there's going to be a government shutdown if we can't agree on that. And then of course Trump doesn't want the bad publicity of there being a government shutdown, so he's like, guys, just pass the spending bill, even though it's continuing to fund all of the shit that Doge has identified.
I'm very surface level Actually, I'm scratching the surface and understanding what a government shutdown implies, and what I kept hearing it. Like, what does that exactly mean?
Well, they always end up just passing the bill at the last minute, so I don't know if we know.
Shut down a couple times.
What does it mean to shut down?
But usually never more than like a week. Anything government system-wise ceases to run. So government employees stop getting checks. So like USPS and your fucking utility companies.
What triggers a government shutdown?
They can't pass funding. There's no money to fund everything.
When they don't agree. I mean, that's at least one example that can lead to a government shutdown.
Unless you're a government employee or you just really like going to like national parks, you really wouldn't notice a government shutdown. Like those are the two big things that happen is national parks shut down and like government.
Does the common American person freak out if the government shut down, or is it not?
No, I mean, there's a lot of government
shutdown.
employees.
That's pretty.
I don't know how many, but I mean, there's millions of government employees in the U.S. So like,
I want to say your little rant earlier about like the people can't afford. If I was editing this, I wanted to put like a flapping American flag in the background and like dun 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 dun.
I bet, dude. I mean,
Joe for 2028.
It's
Joe-
a real fucking problem.
Okay,
No, it is.
Here we go.
But my point is, I'm frustrated because I feel like Trump is he likes saying things that sound popular, but then when he's in office, he just backtracks in every last promise that he had.
I will give you though. At least I'm not sticking up for him, but he does try. That's like even the tariffs thing. Like, I'm not gonna say I told you so, but like we were in a little group chat, and I told you I was like, bro, y'all should sell before he puts these tariffs in. You're like, nah, it'll be all right. Whatever he says he's gonna do, like. He may get blocked by Congress, but he fucking does try. Like he's been talking about tariffs since he was in the 1990s. He was preaching about doing tariffs. I was like, he's been saying he's going to do this, and now he's doing it. Everyone's like, oh my god, tariffs. Like he's been saying this was what he ran on. He's going to deport all the illegals. He's fucking trying to do that too. I mean, he's literally like rounding people up and trying to deport people.
Yeah,
I'm just saying he is at least trying everything he said he was going to do.
Does the president, when he makes decisions, like there has to be a couple of people that are like, I don't know, man.
Well,
I think you surround yourself with yes men though.
Like
you pick your cabinet.
So all of the people, like they see the feedback of like America when he does these things, and there's like the vision.
And that's where I don't, it's like if you talk to his economists in his sector, they're like, this is great, this is going to work. And if you talk to any other economist, like this is terrible. And I don't know how much that's politics and how much of this is because the mainstream media hates Trump with a passion. So when everyone's freaking about these tariffs and sell, Jim Cramer, sell, get out, I'm like, how much of that's real and how much of that's like, they hate Trump, they can't let him get away.
How much of that freak out reaction will affect the actual market? You know what I mean?
That's why like I actually bought back in yesterday. I got out and then I bought back in. Now I'm like, shit, maybe I should have done that.
Yeah, I talked about it with Max, and I think Monday I'm gonna.
I'm gonna keep
more
buying.
heavily allocated.
I'm gonna keep buying.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, some of the tech sector's down 20%. Nvidia's down. I mean, most of the big tech stocks are 20% down. Apple, maybe more.
No, I'm getting reamed. Y'all never heard what was the phrase? Reamed. You ever heard reamed? I'm getting reamed.
Yeah.
This is a good, Oh my
this is
God.
a good reaming.
Yeah,
It is you just got to ride it out, dude.
This is a reaming of the
but
gods.
this was a panic. That's what I was like, this is all panic. Like what we just saw in the market, nothing has happened yet. The tariffs start tomorrow.
What I don't understand is everyone makes money when the stock goes up. So why don't you everyone just keep buying?
Bro, I'm like all of the, like for Apple, right? They're like, this is going to affect our bottom line 29%. I'm like, okay, but that's
why if
6 months from now before we even see the evidence of that happening. So I'm like, this is all reaction. The tariffs haven't gone into effect. The big ones don't go into effect till next week, but the market's down 3,000 points just off the news.
But that's the same way that if in 2 weeks news comes out that, hey, Trump is coming to new agreement with EU, that everything's going to pop right back the fuck up.
No, I know. I'm just like, this is hysteria. This is not like, oh my God, the tariffs caused Apple to drop 20%. This is the people on the news screaming about how bad this has dropped Apple 20%.
Yeah, but seeing headlines like China prepared to retaliate.
Yeah, it's not good.
Like, what?
You're not going to see a direct problem from the tariffs for a month.
But even the EU is saying that they're going to retaliate.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem. We'll see though. We'll see.
And Canada.
We'll see. Yeah.
That's
exactly.
like we won't see how bad this is until we see earnings reports of Q2 for this year. So like we're 3 months away from actually seeing what this does to all these big companies.
All
that
I know
are
is
freaking
like
out.
mid-February, my accountant texted me. He goes, Warren Buffett just sold all of his position in the market, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna hold it out.
No, I'm smarter than him.
I go, that old man? Nah, he doesn't know what he's talking about, dude.
I'm going to
think
double
I'll
down
stay.
on what I said last week. I think the average voter, the average Trump voter doesn't care about
Yeah,
any of this until product prices go up. Once food, like basic necessities go up, then they're going to be fucking pissed.
I don't think so, bro.
But they're like luxury items going up and the stock market crashing, they don't give a shit.
Look, there's some percentage of MAGA people that they'll be like burning in fire, be like, I still love Trump, he's still the best. You know what I mean?
That's Joe and you, right?
Nah, man, I'm down on Trump right now, man. I'm frustrated.
Do y'all want Biden back?
No.
I know I wouldn't want Biden back. I wouldn't say that.
Here's a question.
Joe, there's more examples of things Trump has said one thing and done the other.
Oh, no, there's probably a million things.
Yeah.
That's Trump. I like Trump, but even I'll be the first one to like, I don't trust
Wait,
Trump.
so now y'all are anti-Trump.
Anti-Trump, I think you just have to acknowledge that like you don't know what he's going to do. And I think the uncertainty is the problem with the stock market right now. It's not that he did it. It's that we don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
Christian, can you talk to him when you go to the White House?
Probably not.
Screaming him in Spanish.
hey, my friends are pissed.
But he also campaigned as the anti-war candidate. He was literally shitting on Joe Biden during his campaigning about why would you bomb Yemen and threaten a war with Iran. 2 weeks ago, he bombed
Hey, dude,
Yemen.
I'm all for that shit.
He did this fake ceasefire with Israel, and
cool
then
with
as
it.
soon as they
You're all
broke
for
the
what?
ceasefire, he's
Trump,
cool with it.
I think the peace through strength is the only thing that we have, so I'm cool with that. Like Trump tweeted yesterday.
peace through strength. What? He's
Yeah. So
bombing
Trump
Yemen
tweeted-
is not peace through strength.
Yes,
That's
it
just
is.
flirting with a war.
Crop it up.
Bro, Trump tweeted yesterday.
No, I'm not editing this podcast. I'm not saving
Joe.
Joe anymore, bro.
It was like
let's
True
go.
True Social or whatever. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen a fucking president
He said
do.
all the wars will end on day one when I'm in office.
He fucking posted on his Truth a video, like a thermal image of all these like Houthi soldiers standing, and then a fucking bomb, and they just all disappeared, like disintegrated. And he fucking typed out like, thought they were getting ready to like bomb our ships. Oops, not anymore. And I'm like, bro, the fact the president just posted a video killing 50 people with oops in the fucking caption is
In
nuts.
Yemen?
It was a Houthi rep. Yeah, I
Yes,
assume
that's in Yemen. But that's exactly what he criticized Biden for, saying bombing them it's not going to
I'm all
stop
for
them.
bombing them. I'm cool with that.
Okay, here we go.
It's going to potentially start a war with Iran.
I don't think so. I think they're like, oh fuck, don't fuck with them. They're crazy.
That's okay.
Hey.
Biden bombed them. It didn't change anything. You're not basing this on the actual
gonna
facts of
see
the
what happens.
situation.
Hey guys,
we've already seen what
remember
happens.
We're all
This is
haven't
what
attacked
happened.
yet.
Remember, we're all good friends here, okay?
Yeah.
I know y'all are about to. How about this? Can each of you, to wrap up this politicalness, okay? What do you think would be the best course of action to better America?
That's
Cut all the spending or cut all the unnecessary engagement in foreign wars, and that will save way more money than the tariffs. And,
Okay.
and way less people will die around the world.
Okay, Joe.
I think the best thing that can happen for America is keep the tariffs in place and fucking use the tariff money and use the fucking not getting a war
Keep the
money.
tariffs?
Yeah, use that money to subsidize the products to make them cheaper again and bring the jobs for America. Because you're talking about your average American, not your fucking $150,000, $300,000 a year family. I'm talking about like your average American. The best case scenario for them is manufacturing comes back to the U.S., jobs come back to the U.S. Otherwise, I don't know what the fuck they do. Otherwise, we keep 7% interest rates on homes, and you're going to make $40,000 the rest of your life, and good luck.
Christian, what do you think?
my head is just screaming, don't make any drastic changes right now to your business structure. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? I think a lot of, and I know this because a good chunk of my staff, all of my manufacturers are like on high freak out mode right now. And what are we gonna do? Are we increasing, like, are we bumping pricing? Do we need to like, and I'm just like literally taking it day by day, launch by launch. When we get the landed costs, we'll see what we need to do. You know what I mean? That's all I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about like
Let's just say
I'm
that
thinking about how it applies to me in my life right
This
now.
year, it's going to be like, all right, guys, Black Friday sale this year, everything is
15%
4.5% off. The biggest sale we've done. All right.
I do think real quick. I
right.
think they need to put like a law or something in place
Okay.
to stop the scalping because I think that's part of the problem. Like I've already had calls from dealerships where they're like, "Hey, we have cars on the lot. They're going up 25%." Like, no, the cars are already here. You know, like you use cars, right? Like you have these guys who are like, "Oh, a used 3RS is now going for $25,000 more." It's like, no. So I think like that's part of the problem too. Is like people in the U.S. that have stockpiles of wood are now like, "Oh, the wood's going up 20%."
Is it going to be
What's already here? Like you're just scalping now because you know it was higher, so now you're trying to make the money on it. I think that's going to hurt this
I
a
know
lot.
my
worse.
rights.
Well, a responsible business owner will do what Christian suggested. For example, we just had an Edge shipment arrive last week. We didn't have to pay higher tariffs on that.
Yeah, so you don't char- you don't offload
that'll be
that
the same prices as before. If the
I
next
think
one
these-
comes and it's higher,
Yeah.
okay, we'll do something.
A
But-
lot of
yeah.
these like slimy companies are already jacking up prices because they know they can do it, and like I get it, but also kind of fucking over all the Americans.
Some of
right
our
now.
competition's already doing price bumps.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? But it's just like it's seems a little. It's just a little bit premature. I think you should handle it case by case.
But on the flip side, you make more money while you can to offset what is coming.
No, I can see. Yeah, I mean, you can get away with it now as a business owner because knowing everyone that this is what people are focused on. There's tariffs, prices are going up.
we literally did a whole website price drop last year. So I already cut my margin last year purposely to be more competitive, and now this is happening.
Control Z.
nice? Control Z, bro. Christian, little 180 here. I've heard that you're increasing your short form content because you are trying to grow your social media audience. As someone who's 12, 13 years into the game, what's your thoughts on growing that audience? Because I find it difficult.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with both of our short form, if you go look at both of our Instagrams right now, we are not active.
Correct. It's because we're YouTubers, bro.
Yeah, but if we can continue,
In what way? In what? Because we don't post reels.
we're just. I want to be posting 2 times a day.
Yeah, but if you post stories,
carousels, reels, it's a combination of everything. But I want to be sure. A lot of it's not all you go.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
No, it's for you. It's for you. Why do you want to post more?
I feel I'm seeing the glimpses of a second wave coming of growth because I'm seeing it on my YouTube channel and getting better views now than I did in 2023 with 1 million subs. So, and the growth is finally like after 4 years of not seeing positive net growth, I'm like seeing it. So I know if I can on YouTube, so that's great and all, but it's still the same eyeballs right now. So the chances of popping off with a viral YouTube video are still there, but I think if I can tackle the short form every single day, minimum once a day, right? With like, say 4 of those are reels, 3 of them are carousels or something like that.
so stories don't count.
Stories don't, no, fuck stories.
No, but why?
Just talking about posts. To get the wider eyeball, to get more people drawn in, to funnel them to YouTube. That's my goal.
But is that to ultimately funnel them to Alpha Elite, or what's the?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah. The more I can funnel that in general, the more all the companies benefit.
Okay.
Like all of them. It's a direct correlation. So like, it's almost like I'm just trying to get back to growing because one, I enjoy it. I love making content, and that's like what I'm good at. But I think the effect will be more success in the businesses than if I just focus on the businesses and didn't do content.
Do you think back? Let's all just see it how it is. We peaked a while back.
2017.
Right? Yeah. We had our like when we were like, you can recognize a moment in time when you're like, bro, I was like popping on social, or like just in the community of what we were doing, like in the fitness world, right?
350K views, no big deal.
Well, I never hit that, but are you like? Do you think where was I going with that? Like, do you think that you'll like? Do you think you're one piece of unique content away from exploding, or do you think just quantity of content? Because back then,
quantity and consistency,
your views were so high and everything because there was so much less competition, I guess you will say, and you were so different. You're so different than everyone else in terms of like your YouTube channel, your motivation, your inspiration, like the quality of the content, like everything is there. Now everyone has all of that, right? Like everyone has super high quality content. Everyone has like, out there. Like, do you think if the more reels you post, do you think it's the quantity that like you're going to get new eyeballs, or is it just people are going to like gravitate towards this like type of content you're doing?
Well, the content I want to do is going to be like mainly around nutrition, right? So just mainly like valuable for showing people how to get lean and stay lean. So like, that's going to be like my key kind of reminder of if I don't know what to film, like that's kind of what my short form I want to tailor towards.
One quick tip for counting macros.
Like this is how I cook my grilled chicken. This is how I'm currently cooking my
That's
chicken.
how you're going to explode?
Yeah.
I'll give him that though.
The
Like
cauliflower that I showed you?
Yeah.
Like that's
great.
a reel.
Do you enjoy the short form content though?
Not as much as a long form at all, but if
Because
it's a necessary, I see it as like a pay your dues there, so you can enjoy and go off and not worry and just do the YouTube. Like
he's right about the new eyes, because the days of a YouTube video, especially a vlog going viral, are gone.
They're gone.
Like there's no chance that your vlog is going to get 7 million views, because maybe with your thumbnails, maybe for you it might happen.
Yeah,
but
David
like,
has the best possibility.
yeah, but
of
I'm just like that. I think the days of like one of your YouTube videos going viral are done, unless you're filming like I filled my backyard with fucking goo or something. Like it's not going to happen.
What kind of
but
goo?
The short form stuff, like I do frequently see like some girl will have a bag for 2 seconds and next thing you know, it has 23 million views. I'm like, how the fuck did this happen?
But I went really hard with the short form when we were in Spain 2 years ago, and there was a point where every reel I was posting on YouTube was getting like 1 to 10 million
YouTube
views.
shorts, yeah.
The YouTube shorts, again, not the reels. I kind of hated making them though. I'm not gonna lie. So at some point, even though they're getting views, and I
Did
also
you notice any like trickle from that to your vid, like, or no? Like, do you think those people came with you?
There was
little bit,
maybe a slight lift. What I ran into is, and I was doing a combination of, I guess, like fitness or like dating things, but you can do, 3 quick diet tips to cut out calories, 3 best exercises to hit your chest, or for me, 3 things not to say to a girl on the first date. But at some point, I was like, this just feels like I'm just making up dumb shit just to say it at some point, just to make it feel different than the one that I did last month. So I hope I'm not trying to be super negative.
No. I mean, I'm right now.
I just got frustrated with it at the end.
My intention is to like, tackle the short form, but I mean, I don't know what that's gonna look like. You know what I mean?
Because long form, I feel like it's always enjoyable to at least, I don't know for Joe maybe, but at one point maybe.
Making long form?
Well, like there's something enjoyable about picking up the camera as you like start your day and filming some clips.
I just don't know if the market's there to like consume long form anymore.
I was going to talk about this last time.
Like, do kids still want to watch a 20-minute YouTube video? I know you do, but you're a boomer. Do like little 12-year-old kids want to watch a 30-minute video, or they want to watch an 8-second,
But is that the audience we want, the little kids?
Even the teens now, like, do you even think like a 16-year-old wants to watch, or they just want to like flip through real quick?
What's the main age demographic in your channel? Because I think I'm somewhere from the 25 to 35, and then after that, I think it used to be like the 18 to 25, but I think I'm 25, 35. Then after that, it might be the 35 to 40 or whatever, and then it's the 18 to 20.
Maybe look into that, because I think the under 20 crowd, I don't even know if they want to watch long form anymore. I think they're so used to that like little dopamine hit while they're scrolling, like there's just not a.
But they're not.
I'm gonna keep making it because I think there's still plenty of like older 20s, young 30s that like
Taylor
I wanna reach.
And those are the guys.
Does Taylor ever watch
buying
long
the
form?
clothes.
Like, does Taylor ever watch like YouTubers, or she only just swipes?
There's like 2 girl YouTubers. She watches this girl, Paige Loren, who's like a vlog girl. And then there's like, she'll watch some like beauty long form, like Tati, Tati someone, like get ready with me type of thing, but more just kind of like noise while she's getting done doing her makeup. But she'll watch a couple vlogs. But do you think vlogs are kind of dead? I made a video.
I think they might be making a comeback.
I think they're there. I just think that the people watching, like Joe's saying, people watching the long form is just a lot less than it was. So like,
who do you know that is making vlogs on YouTube consistently, let's say weekly, for long periods of time, that is still producing, like, who, even if not in the fitness community, like,
that's what I was gonna say when you were like, there's so many people putting out quality content. Guys, I think the 3 most consistent fitness people that put out long form are sitting right here. I really do. I mean,
I'm looking at my subscribers. I mean, I think Rob still uploads weekly.
Rob does. Yeah, he's consistent.
Ryan's, he might not be as consistent, but he's still uploading.
Rob is consistent.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is like I want a category of like film yourself, like of actual vlog, and consistent over long periods of time. Not like
Mike Thurston's killing it still.
He doesn't film his own, but he is still killing it.
Yeah, but he could go like 2 weeks without uploading a vlog. Like,
how many people that y'all just named are still doing the same as they were?
Nick
Like,
Bear.
I feel like a lot of these people, like
Nick Bear's a good
couple
one.
of them, but a lot of these guys are going the other way. A lot of these guys get less views now than they did 4 or 5 years ago.
But what I was gonna say is like less views now isn't necessarily like if everybody's views are down, because back then it was like 250K, 350K. A lot of people were getting that. Now people are getting 50 to 70.
But
for
there
like
are
a
still
good
people
channel.
that are.
And that's
So
who we are.
you're saying that we also have to like realistically grade ourselves on a curve of what people in our genre of YouTube are doing. We can't. It would be kind of wild for us to be getting 500K.
there was
views.
no one
inflation
else
on
is doing
YouTube,
that.
and now 50 to 70 is worth the same as 150.
See,
See, where did those views go?
Yeah, C-Bum just posts
Short
if he
form.
posts a video in 48 hours, he's at 250,000 views, right?
Same.
Therefore, if we're at 50,000 or whatever, 50,000 views in 48 hours,
whatever you have to
that's
rationalize.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Like really, that is fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you something I've noticed because I post every other video. One's a vlog, one's I'm sitting there giving some advice. And the 2 years before this year, the advice videos would always outperform the vlogs. But I've noticed the last 3 months it's actually flipped a little, and the vlogs are
Vlogs
now
make a comeback.
outperforming the advice videos.
There are YouTubers that haven't seen, like the fucking MKHDs of the world and Linus Tech. Like those guys' views are still.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's possible. There are people that have been on YouTube for 10 years and are still doing the same views the whole time.
But not like they're superior YouTubers for sure. But like,
Or like Casey Knight, he disappeared. But if he came back tomorrow, I bet he still gets 2 million views on a video.
he just
No.
posted like a
No.
he just posted like a Nintendo Switch video.
And
Yeah, but the thing with let's see, it has
500K.
366K.
But
But see, that's what I'm saying. 2 million to 500K,
Yeah.
250K to 70K.
yeah, but okay. So when I was getting started with the advice videos, someone like Alpha M, Aaron, he would have 300 to a million every video.
Yeah.
He's now, I don't know, probably in the same range that we are,
Yeah.
like around 50K or so. And I've noticed the same thing, not just with fitness YouTubers, but also with the other genre that I would upload to, like the self-improvement videos for men. Those have also came down quite a lot.
do we think that it is the people that we're watching are now older with kids and don't watch anymore, or do we think that it's
lot
like
of that, yeah.
they're trading y'all in for younger, hotter?
No,
Or do you think it's like people
first
that used
one.
to watch you are now like, oh, like there's this other kid that I kind of think is cooler?
No, I think it's the aging out of it, or maybe we still even have 90% of the viewer base we had, but maybe back then they watched every video, and now they watch 1 out of every 6
They
videos.
have
or
jobs
something.
now, they have
Yeah.
kids.
They
play golf.
stay subscribed for the like giant monumental things that happen.
Max and I always joke. Tell me if this happens when you meet someone who's like, oh, like Christian. Oh my God, I used to watch your videos all the time.
I used to watch your videos when I was 14. I get that pretty often.
I'm always like, I still upload them, man.
Yeah.
You can still watch them, bro. They're like, nah. No, I think short form is the biggest like
Stealer.
for sure.
Well, I think the future of
Because the people that like are watching short form, a lot of them are people that like started a little younger and they're getting on a social media, and short form's like the first thing. But a lot of people are that were like, we're long formers, and now they're just like, oh, this is kind of way better. I can watch 50 YouTube videos in 15 minutes.
I don't
Also-
even think it's a conscious decision. I think now when you just open up the apps, you just get served these like really engaging reels,
Well,
and
all
you get
do it.
lost
Facebook
scrolling.
does it. All of them do it
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
But it's also like I don't think the revenue's there. I met we were at a car show. I was talking to this guy, and he's a short form like car guy, so he just does like the quick 30-second reviews. And he was asking like, when you're making videos, how much money could you make on YouTube? And he's getting like 500,000 views on every one of his things. But he's like, he said he made like $3,000 last month. He's like trying to figure out how he can quit his job to do this. And it's crazy to me that everything he posts is 500,000 views, and he still can't quit his job.
It's
Like,
definitely harder to build an audience that like maybe would
like it doesn't
support
convert,
you,
Trust
and, like,
you enough.
When the ads,
Yeah.
you're not making money off ads either.
But also,
Yeah.
you can't even really plug something in a short form piece of content.
But it's like this guy's more popular than I will ever been on YouTube, but he's making no money from. Like he can't. It's not a job, and it's like
I think you're a better YouTuber than him, Joe.
I think I am.
What
too,
what
but-
social media platform do y'all consume the most on a day-to-day basis?
YouTube.
YouTube for me, for sure.
it might be Instagram Reels.
Really?
The damn Explore tab, man.
See, but I'm on my computer working, so I always just have like a YouTube. Even if I'm not
Same.
even watching it, I'll just have like recently a lot of Asmongold. I'll just have him just
Yeah,
chatting
I like
about
him.
shit. Or I watch a lot of what I think is never going to go away, fucking reviews.
I thought you were gonna say-
even if I'm not going to buy something, I'm still like, oh, new Sony camera came out. I'm watching that. Like I'm always watching reviews on like the latest cars and tech and stuff.
I'm like wanting new content to
Oh,
start
I'm on
consuming
on YouTube. I'm like home. I'm like nothing. I'm like refresh. Give me some. Nothing.
Subscriptions.
Yeah, and I'm like I get excited every Monday and Thursday because I know David's gonna have a piece of content I can do. I'm excited like Sunday as much as Graham Stephan. I'm like, where's the podcast? I still like his content, so I would still come back on, bro. But I watch his podcast go up on like Sunday. Alpha M posts like I know what days people are gonna post. So I'm like, oh, I know that this day I'm gonna get some content. But when I've watched it all, I'm like, I need more content.
You run outside now, but when you used to do cardio on who was your go-to? Like if you had to do 30 minutes on a Stairmaster tomorrow,
I DM'd Matt Ogus the other day and was like, bro, can you start making some vlogs again?
is that your
Yeah.
Like
He was my
today, if I
favorite to
said you
watch.
have 30 minutes on a Stairmaster after this vlog,
Matt
what do
Ogus.
yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube is kind of like Netflix to me right now, where I'll spend 25 minutes trying to find a YouTube
Yes.
video to watch.
Yes. Same.
But I'll commit. I'll be like, no, I'm gonna find something. I'm gonna keep just hitting refresh on home till it gives me something.
A sick vlog, like a political video, maybe a car review. I'll find something to watch. Yeah.
Oh man, Christian, what's going on with 3D, bro?
3D is, I just got a massive box Southland of all the final cans without the tops. And I shouldn't say final because we go to the factory where we do the cans in a week. And there's still like 3 changes we're going to do on the spot. So the ones I have aren't technically.
Design changes?
Yeah. So they're not like technically signed off. And I'm going to be in Germany when the team goes to there. So I won't actually be there to see the pretty much there's with the name up top, like the flavor name. On 2 of the flavors, we're going to outline it with like a very subtle darker color. So because it kind of fades out hard
Like
to
a
read.
stroke or shadow?
Yeah,
kinda?
like a stroke. And then on one of the flavors, we need a little bit more gradient to show. And so they need to just press the machine a little harder because it's already in the artwork file that we submitted, but they just need to like apply it different. So those are like the 3 risky kind of things we're doing last minute. But
When's the hard launch on that?
I'll have flavors for us end of April. May we'll be launching.
Can you say what stores you're going in?
I'll be doing, I'll say. So we're
Exclusive.
doing GNC. We're doing a tour this summer where we go to like 3 of their biggest flagships. We're going to do the same for Vitamin Shop. Dollar Tree's a massive customer for us moving forward because we perform super well there. And those are like 3 HEB. I'm going to HEB in like 2 weeks to go meet with them in San Antonio, kind of mend that relationship. A big thing is a lot of the relationships with a lot of the distributors that we had are terrible because of everything that we've kind of gone through with different ownership and just people being left unresponded to, or a lot of people have like reached out to us asking like, hey, when can I get more? No response. So like a lot of people, we're just having, I'm pretty much just going to, with GNC, sitting down with them, like telling them the story, showing them new stuff, getting them excited again. And it seems like everybody I have those meetings with, so far at least, have gone great. So it's just a matter of getting literally one, being able to produce them fast enough, and 2, just being sure we mend those relationships,
Yeah.
So it's going to be real. I mean, it kind of sucks. We're like starting off this year in May. So, but I think in 2020, next year and the year after should be like really, really good.
Let me ask you this, not in like a super negative way, but like, what area of business or life are you going to take the time for now 3D? Because you haven't had to do as much 3D while you're kind of going through like the transitional period of all that stuff. But like, so are you like delegating more in Alphalete to provide more time, or are you like?
It's been 100% delegating more with Alphalete specifically. I'll give a huge shout out to our president who got hired in October, and he's a president / COO in his title. And so now literally everybody that did report to me, which was like 12 people, now report to him. And so he's my sole person that I need to speak with. I mean, we talk every day for hours, right? But the only person that I'm really needing to communicate with. So then he's able, like, we had 2 meetings this week about the next 4 weeks of like the bigger vision of what I want to see happen in the company. We sign off on that. We kind of really talk through those things, and then he's able to, on a weekly basis, execute, stay on top of it. Because any big motion with Alphalete takes like 4 to 6 weeks to kind of like really start happening. So it's really nice because I feel like I'm able to, like I just have so much more time now for 3D, for content. That's like what I've been waiting for to restart this like process of building the personal brand again, was to get that kind of, that funnel ready. So now it's there. It's looking like it's looking good.
You know what, Christian, I think you've motivated me, dude. I talked about this Taylor the other day. I made that get ready, or that day in the life, or that like where I put my face in the energy drink reel, right? And then the last weekend I was like, I'm gonna like a fitness reel. So I did like a little hook at the beginning, filmed like a little
let's
workout.
tackle our content together.
I was like, you know what, I should really, but I've done this before, but I actually need to commit. I don't know about daily, but I was like, maybe like 3 times a week, just post a reel. Be like, the thing is, like with YouTube, we like plan it. We like, what is this going to be, the topic? But I forget
put the effort
that
in
short
short
form.
form.
Yeah, but short form, you actually don't need to. You just, I could put my face in a bowl of energy drinks and it gets 400,000.
Yeah.
So it's almost like just put something out.
Yeah.
But then again, do you want to be kind of one of like the OG kind of like influencer people where?
No, I want to stay relevant as fuck and be an OG.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of like influencers that have a bunch of followers.
Not
like,
at all. I don't want to be an OG.
It's like super rare that they post, but when they do, it's like
No, not at all.
You are an OG. You're an OG. I think we're all OGs at this point. But I know you're saying that you also want to be an OG, but also not an OG.
I want to be an OG, but no, I'm relevant.
Christian's gonna be Shaq in the fucking Buick commercials. That's literally what that is.
Snoop
That's
Dogg, man. It's just stayed relevant for like 100 years now.
you're gonna be like
Yeah.
the general insurance commercial. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
Or I feel
Fuck
like
it.
I just feel like confidently at any stage of our life, like you can, if anything, I just feel like I have so much more to share now than I did 10 years ago. So it's just like, I feel like, I mean, we follow Joe Rogan like crazy. He's what, 55, right?
But
Like,
he ain't uploading 5 shorts a
Yeah,
week.
not gonna lie to you guys. Y'all picked the
okay,
worst
Alex
time.
Ramosi, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, y'all picked
No,
the
you're
worst
murdering.
time in history to fucking jump on this train, because I would say that like my reels now, I'd say 1 in every 15 is like a purely AI generated fucking video with an AI voice on it, and I feel like that's gonna get way worse. Like I just feel like the amount of content flooding the like quick gratification shit is getting so much worse with like how good ChatGPT's images are and shit. That,
Yeah,
like,
but there's probably an argument also that non-AI stuff will stand out even more the more AI stuff.
I guess
that gets
if social
flooded.
media starts like making it apparent, but like for me, like it doesn't say shit. I don't know if it's AI or not. Like I'm just scrolling. I mean, I can
Okay,
tell.
for long form, I think it'll be. But for short form, it'll be tougher than long
that's what
form.
I'm like I feel like we're very close to like having bots just posting 100 things every day of shit you don't even care about just to get some clicks. Like,
Well, I think pretty raw, unfiltered short form is going to be the goal. It's just like helping kind of get that executed. I mean, I can say, oh, raw clip, but like you still want to cut it up. You still want to just like have it kind of nice and neat. So like,
Would you
even
film-
just that is what I want.
I'm
to
saying
help with.
those uploads are happening so much now that it's like I think it's gonna be really hard to get it in front of eyeballs because there's so much generated content going out on a daily basis.
Mine is I think there's a lot of like stuff that I put in my stories that probably is
reels.
acceptable as a reel, but I look at it as like, no, that's like reel needs to be like actual like more content. Do you think you should film all with your phone, or do you think like a camera?
most on phone, but
Yeah.
but I'm gonna.
It'll be tough to stay consistent without it being on your phone, I think.
Well, see, and I've heard things. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that like TikTok, for example, like prioritized phone uploads edited on the platform over like just bringing MP4 in.
Well,
I've heard that about
just-
multiple things.
Instagram just released a new like video editing app.
Yeah, so I've heard like from multiple people that at least on TikTok, you were better off filming it on your phone and like editing it in there and like putting it out as opposed to like, hey, Nabil, edit it, give me the MP4 and I'm gonna upload the MP4. Like they were prioritizing just raw iPhone clips over like these crazy edits and shit. I don't know if that's true or not, but I definitely heard that about a couple platforms that like
with Alfleet, we film a lot on the iPhone.
Bro, I feel like such a boomer because I'll like film a couple things on my phone. It's to the point of my age and technology of like that I'm old school with YouTube that I'll like film stuff and I'll literally go like, hey, Taylor, in TikTok, like how do you, or like in the reel, like how do you make these two clips like go together with the text? She's like, give it to me, like she's doing this stuff because I don't use that stuff.
I don't know how to
I
use
feel
TikTok.
like an old person when she's like, oh yeah, you just do this right here and this. Like, oh wow, oh that was really easy. Like I feel like our parents like, what's the TikTok machine?
Give me Premiere.
I know. I don't know. Okay, I feel like I want to start doing.
Let's start at the same time, April 15th,
Why do we have to wait?
It's tax day.
because Nabil gets here. I ain't doing it on my own.
tax.
Oh man. Hey, I got like a random thing. How would you tackle this, Christian? And you already kind of know the situation. My neighbor, like two neighbors away, they just got this. They had to have just got this dog because this dog I never had this problem the past years I've lived at the house. Let's say about 2 months ago, they got like a full-grown German Shepherd, full-grown, beautiful dog. I'd say about 95% of the day and night, it's in the backyard, okay? Now, the dog can see, I'm across the lake, it can see my backyard, it can see all the lakes. When it sees anything, if I have my dog out there, if I'm just out there, whatever, just barks. Loud barks nonstop. If it sees anything, just barks. And I'm talking, this isn't like 10 seconds, it's like minutes and minutes and minutes of barking. It could be 11 o'clock at night, dog's outside. It could be I'm trying to get Dolly to go to the bathroom, dog's barking nonstop, so she's distracted.
This morning, I was just working up inside, like doors closed, windows closed, and it was really distracting.
Oh yeah, no, I can hear it in when I'm trying to go to sleep.
You know my solution?
What do I do?
5 acres. You're
Yeah.
already working on it.
But like, can you? I'm real. Like, I almost want to go to the neighbors and be like, listen, my wife's pregnant. Like, would you mind bringing your dog inside when it's barking? Because I look at I understand dogs bark, but in my mind, if your dog is outside, right, and you're not on acres of land, and the dog's just like barking, 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 in my head, I'm like, there's two ways to think about it. You either let me see what this dog is barking at. Let me go outside and is there a problem? Is this dog barking at something? Or you're just, oh, the dog always barks. I just ignore it outside. So then you would never, if the dog was actually barking at something of like a problem, you would ignore it because the dog just always barks. So in my mind, I'm like, how are these people inside? And I can hear it 3 houses away across the lake and it's so loud. How are they just like, this is fine that the dog is just barking all day, all night for 5 to 10 minutes at a time, every time it sees anything, and they're fine with that. Like, I'm like, is that like a problem with the person?
Well,
like,
I think you should politely ask them, like you just said.
what if there's like,
But there's two.
dogs they bark?
I don't
they're-
see any world where you go ask them and bring this up and they're like,
Well, no, there's
receiving this.
Yeah.
no.
I'm going to use Taylor's pregnancy as a.
No.
No.
It doesn't matter.
No, I think you go and you ask in a polite way. But there's two possibilities. The first one is the more likely one, where they're just like they like yap at you, like, all right, cool, bro, yeah, we'll work on it, and nothing changes. The second one is that they genuinely aren't aware that it's bothering neighbors, and they are conscientious people, and they make a little bit of an effort. But
Right. You might call me a pussy here,
it's worth asking.
but
They're not.
I think he's right.
Yeah.
But I don't think you do it. I think you just call the cops.
I don't think there's anything illegal about your
Yeah,
dog
there's
barking.
noise complaint, 100%. If you have a party in your house and the speakers wake, it does a noise complaint easy. And the nice thing is, the cops do it. They won't say who complained, so then they don't know. They don't know who to blame this on. Now, the only worry I have
Who
is
said
what if
this?
they
Them
do
right over there.
something. Yeah, well, like, what if they do something to the dog? Like, what if this results in them giving the dog to like a shelter or like?
They would not do that because he's barking.
I don't know, but I'm saying I would use the cops before I go myself. Because if you go,
What if you
and they
mail
don't
a
do
letter?
anything about it, like
No, I would
technically
go-
you could probably complain to the HOA first, have the HOA give them
I
a letter,
think
and
HOA
then
is a
go
good
to the
idea.
cops. But disturbing the peace is definitely, you can 100% get in trouble
I
for your
would
dog
I would
barking all
first
night.
just go ask them politely if it was me.
Yeah, but see, if they don't do anything and then you call the cops, now they know it's you. Now when the cops show up, they're like,
not necessarily.
they're gonna
I
know
almost
it's you.
want to get like, bro, this is like, I'm like, I bet I could get a petition from everyone because it's barking in the backyard, and there's got to be 15 houses that are hearing this, and I'm like, everyone is thinking the same thing I'm thinking. They're like, that dog is so loud.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it'll be like 11 o'clock at night, just barking, loud.
I would still politely ask, just because if they were going to give the dog to a shelter or something, which is a bad outcome here, it's more likely it's going to happen with the police coming and showing up. They might like freak out and be like, "Oh, we can't have this dog." I'd ask them first and call the police. If they know it's you, who cares? What's the matter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Or I mean,
almost
not
would be
even the
like,
cops. Call fucking just honestly. If I was you, like anonymously, like, hey, animal control. There's people in my neighborhood leave their dogs outside 20 hours a fucking day, and they'll go by and check on the dog's welfare and ask.
There actually is a house in my neighborhood that I literally think they leave their dogs out.
Animal control
100% of the day.
will go like do a little checkup and ask what's going on, and you could just base it off of the dog being outside all day, not even
In my
barking.
mind, I just if you're inside, I couldn't fathom that my dog is outside when I'm in a neighborhood with all the houses are 5 feet away.
Yeah.
That you are like, this is fine. That my full-grown German Shepherd is just barking nonstop all day. It's fine. I'm fine with it.
It's new, and there is a small chance they just don't even realize it. There is a small chance.
It's been like a month.
Yeah, but how they
No,
get
but-
a? See, that's the other thing too. Like, all right, they got this full-grown dog. Maybe they adopted it, or maybe like something tragic happened, like someone passed away, and they have. I don't
Just
know their
bring the dog
situation.
inside is what I'm trying to
No, I
say.
know that's the only thing with like the cop of like you
And the
don't
dog's
know
like
what the
wagging its
situation
tail. It
is
seems like
and,
a nice dog. I'm just like, it just won't stop barking.
Was it the guy that ran through your fucking yard?
Yes, that's another thing.
Max,
Wait,
Max,
is that the same guy?
Yes.
If you want, I'll go over and ask
Why didn't you
him.
say?
I'm not
You should
a
have said
little
something to him then. You already yelled at him.
I know. I should have. What's your thought on this? Do you think it's appropriate? I live on the corner. The guy with the German Shepherd, because the dog drags him when he walks. Like, I'm actually stressed when I walk because the dog's like he's. I'm like, dude, the dog's gonna pull this guy away. I live on the corner. This guy will run with the dog, the German Shepherd. He cuts through my driveway.
What?
Yes.
Every
And-
time.
Every time.
Hell no.
And we were out the
Wait,
bumper.
where my
Okay,
car's
wait,
parked.
real
to a
quick,
Yeah,
place
they,
to-
like
put
through,
this-
through my circle
Yeah,
driveway.
to put this in perspective, so you have street here. Max's house is here, and Max's driveway does like this to
connects
bridge
the
the
two.
two. So instead of going around the road, he's going through Max's
It's
driveway.
clearly not a sidewalk. Yeah, it's clearly
No,
not.
I-
a
no,
sidewalk.
it's- when
And
we're on
there's
the bumper
usually
driveway.
multiple cars. Will he run
I would
through it
wait
if
for
there's
him.
cars parked? Does he still run through
He
it?
did it while we were working on the truck.
Yeah, we were in the bumper, and I stopped him. I go, hey, man, like, can you not run through my
What did he
driveway?
say?
He was just like, oh, okay.
But he's done it since then.
I haven't.
I think
caught
maybe
him.
the dog goes that way. I think the dog's pulling him through there.
I just couldn't fathom why you would. I'm like,
Yeah, there is a sidewalk. To be clear, it's not like he has to be on the road. There is a sidewalk that doesn't.
no, he's
go
just
through
doing it to
Max's.
cut like 15 feet off walking.
Well, if he hasn't done it since you've said something, maybe.
no, I'm just that he's asking
Same
if that was the guy. So now I got two problems with this guy.
Yeah, but you probably go over there and tell him. He's going to say, "Oh, okay."
Man, okay, I got another hypothetical question. If you're at a driving range and you hit balls and it whacks the house or someone's house, is that your fault?
No.
The driving range or the golf course?
Like the golf course that's right next to the main road. If you drive and you just apparently are not that good and it goes into traffic, hits a car, causes a two-car pileup, someone dies.
We looked into this.
Are you?
I think legally it is your fault.
Yeah, we looked into this because I was curious because we played at Quill Valley and you're on the fucking highway for one of the holes, and I was like, damn, this is kind of sketchy. At least in Texas, you can be charged. You'll be charged with manslaughter unless they can prove intent.
Involuntary.
So if you like teed up, aimed at the highway, was like, hey, watch this, and hit it in the car, and you killed somebody, now it's murder or
Right.
whatever. But if you accidentally do it, it's still like involuntary manslaughter. So yes, you will still be charged for killing somebody.
it almost
but
makes you.
it's-
I'd be like, I don't want to play near a road if a golf course.
I mean, you're not going to jail over it or anything, but it's not good.
yeah, but I mean,
The house thing's kind of again like technically speaking, when you pay for a round of golf, most golf courses do have a clause that if you damage like a house or whatever, you're liable, not the golf course. But also if you hired a lawyer, like let's just say you hit a house, guy comes out screaming at you, phone, calls the cops, all that jazz. I think like you're not technically, again, it's like, can you prove I meant to hit your house? I don't know, like if you went down the rabbit hole to like go to court and shit, I don't know if you're getting in trouble for that or not.
If you live on if you live on a golf course,
well, your insurance covers it too.
Yes, yeah.
Like you have to tell your insurance.
The house we had in Spain was frontline on a golf course, and only one time. We lived there for 4 months, but only one time, one ball smacked off the front window. But
did it shatter it?
No, bro. New windows are like 4, 5, 6 panes deep. It just bounced off.
But that's rare. Most of the golf courses around here, the houses are built in like the fucking 70s.
Then it will break that. Then it will break that window. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We did look into that, and you can get charged.
Stressful stuff. You know what else is stressful? I got some questions from the people, and people say that they're stressed at the current dating landscape. What do you think?
Let's go, David.
Yeah. What do you think the current dating world is like for like the average person? Do you think it's tougher than it's ever been?
For men, yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, I can give. There's several different reasons. I'd say one.
Give them to me, David.
Social media / dating apps. I think women are now, any slightly attractive woman at any moment at her fingertip could probably go on a date with basically unlimited men, right? If she's posted anything on social media, she probably has guys in her DMs. If a girl goes on a dating app, she swipes a few times, she's somewhat attractive, she's going to match with basically all of them. So you have like and this creates a little bit of an imbalance in the dating market where for men, it seems really, really hard. For women, it seems really, really easy. Now, also, women then get like a bit of a skewed perspective because also men tend to be more like all of you've probably hooked up with a girl at some time where like afterwards you're like, oh man, she like probably wasn't that attractive. Like maybe I shouldn't have done that. I regret that a bit. But like in that girl's head now,
Joe just let it go.
But in that girl's head now,
the Renaissance.
Yeah. So let's say this girl with Joe. Let's say this girl's like a 4. She hooks up with Joe, but now this girl afterwards like, oh, I could get other guys like Joe. So now her standard is raised, and now you have a lot of men in like the
girl gets flown out by like a top tier athlete.
Okay, that's. I mean, that would be a more extreme example. I don't think most girls are getting flown out. I do think that if you're a girl who has a curated Instagram and you're hot, you probably are getting flown out to Miami, Dubai, or wherever. But I don't think that's like the average girl. But even on a smaller scale, and you live in a smaller town, and the girl just posts some normal photos or goes on dating apps, still, for women at any time, they can basically snap their fingers and get a date. For men, if you're a guy who has like money or status, now it's a completely different game, and it's going to be easy because all these girls who are on the dating apps want access to you. But for guys who don't have a big social following, they're not exceptionally attractive, they're not making a bunch of money, it's almost tough for a girl to make a decision to like pursue a guy like that or to be into a guy like that. So I think it's very tough for men right now.
Hot take. There's also this like
with a hot take?
There's like this false perception that like fucking ugly ass girls can just get whatever they want, and I don't know where it came from because like I know everyone that's watching this has seen the fucking Instagram reel where you have this 450-pound fucking orca on the thing, and they're like, "How much does a guy have to make to get with you?" And she's like, $350,000. He has to be at least 6'10". And it's like, where the fuck are these standards coming from? When's the last time you saw like a 300-pound dude on an Instagram reel that was like, girls have to be a 9 or up to sleep with me? Never happens.
No, but you're talking about like the extremes. I'm talking about like mainstream.
I think the like know your worth and like you're worth whatever you think you are like movement that happened in like the female industry has skewed all of these girls' fucking logic on what they think they deserve. I think that didn't happen for men. It's very rare to see guys that are like, know your worth, do what you want to do. I think
so you're saying on top of what I'm saying, it's even harder
I
because
think that you're
of
like
this.
your average 3, like your overweight 3 or 2 thinks that they're a 7 because on Instagram they've been told like, yes, girl, slay, you're so beautiful, blah, blah. And now they think they deserve like your fucking top tier dude when really.
Yeah, and then also I think there's the sexual marketplace in general is a bit broken. I think, okay, in our generation, we start seeing movies like American Pie that glorify like hookup culture, right? And I think in our generation, there's more like sexual liberation than our parents. But now it's taking a step even further. And I don't know if you noticed, but sometimes you're scrolling Instagram and you see like even just like young girls doing TikTok dances. And almost every time these girls have a predominantly female following on Instagram, but then they also have an OnlyFans where they're making money. So now I think you even have younger girls idolizing girls who are just having sex on OnlyFans. So I think also for men it becomes even a little bit more frustrating because you're like,
or just say making content on OnlyFans, making money on OnlyFans. Because
Okay.
like,
They might not
a
all-
lot of them don't do sex, and
Okay.
stuff, but they still make shit tons of money, which I think would be the add-on part 3 to making it why
It's even harder.
dating is so hard for men and men right now. But it's with so many women making so much more. Being in a relationship where the woman makes a lot more than you, and I say that like a lot more than you, because a lot of these girls are making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
but they're also getting paid. They're not just getting validation from men now. Now they're also getting paid by men.
Yeah. So I just, but regardless of where that money comes from, yeah, that's a fact. But I think just being in a dynamic in a relationship where you are the man and you're not making close to the same amount. Right. If it was close, like whatever, it's like it's fine. But if it's like a drastic difference where you just feel so insignificant, and you're not able to, it's just like you'll never feel like a full man in that relationship.
No, because a woman's in a relationship with a guy that makes way more than her, and that's like a bragging point for her. She's like, my man makes all this money. A guy, yeah, you're in a relationship with a girl who makes way more than you, and it's kind of like emasculating.
Like I'm talking if the girl's making 4, 6, 8.
Yeah, but also I think
what
less so depending on what the role is, right? Like if my wife is a neurosurgeon making way more than me, it's a little off, but I'm okay with it. If she's an OnlyFans model talking to dudes on the internet about sucking their dick to make some money, now I'm a little less okay with this.
Even if it's not her sending the DM and it's like her assistant
Sometimes
guy
it's
or
him
whatever,
sending the
you know
DM,
what I mean?
dude.
Yeah, it's like it's wild.
That being said, I do think that if we're to take the flip side of this and not just like it's whatever, it sucks for men, like let's blame women from everything. It's not ideal.
Get that bag.
No,
Shit.
but it's not ideal for men. But I also think, on average, most people are pretty fucking lazy. And if you go to the gym and like intentionally try and learn a skill that can make you $100K plus a year, which in a first world country shouldn't be that hard. Not like snap your fingers, but learn some programming skill or video editing, whatever.
Take care
it
of
is.
yourself, look good, clean yourself up.
Well, now you're immediately in the tier of guys who the average girls or above average girls will still be open to, right?
Hey.
Like it's tough to like sit around complaining when you're out of shape, you're not making any money, and blaming girls. Like that's just a victim mindset.
Would you
anyway.
agree with the statement that assuming you have nothing, maybe physically, no physical ailments, of like nothing kind of maybe like, I don't know if wrong with you is the right thing of like you have nothing that's like making you incapable of like going to the gym. Do you think that for 99% of men at some point in their life should be able to hit 225 pounds on the bench press? Like, do you think like most dudes like can achieve that? Like that's very achievable.
Yeah.
Unlike like the 315. Would you say that most men?
What's the question?
Do you think that most men could hit 225 pounds?
right now? No.
No, after putting in
some point.
after like
Like,
training.
try.
Yeah. Do you think like pretty much all dudes like who start going to the gym like you can hit 225?
In a year, you can probably hit 225.
Do you feel like guys who maybe are trying to do business, like who think that like maybe 100K, do you think it's like obtainable by an average dude, like if they actually put their mind to it, that most dudes could break $100,000 in their revenue? Or do you think that's still like a...
I don't think so.
I think yes, if you intentionally choose a high earning skill and learn it and then
Yes.
apply to jobs, yes, basically every dude without a disability should be able to not easily, but predictably make 100K after, let's say, a 2 to 3 year period of like putting in the right steps before.
I'll say
most people are insanely lazy.
My perspective on that is like if you're willing to supplement a job with an extracurricular like source of income, then yes. Like if you're willing to do something on the side that makes you money, then 100% there's no excuse to not get to 100K.
Well, I see guys who are just bitter because of this landscape. Is I'll say these things and then I'll see the comments. Yeah, but it sucks because as a guy, I have to put in all this effort just to be an option on the dating market. For a girl, she can just
That's
exist.
life, bro. That's life.
No, I know,
You
but, and it's true. But
That's
it's
what you
also
gotta tell the guys. Like that's life.
This is just social media though, because you just see shit that like you're not supposed to. I'm not gonna say not supposed to, but like my dad, right? My dad met my mom. In his entire 30 years of marriage, maybe he saw like 5 girls that were like, holy shit, that's a very attractive girl. And the fact that like you'd ever even bump into him would be not gonna happen. But now with social media, it's like every fucking day you're seeing like just people that
the
shouldn't
hottest
exist.
girl. Yeah.
And then you look at your current situation, like, well, I think everyone's looking for that like perfect thing on Instagram that doesn't fucking exist, but social media makes it look like it, you know?
I want to add to my statement about the like girls making a lot more. I think at least with like friends I've kind of seen and heard and stuff, it can kind of go both ways. Where like if the woman's making a lot more, then a lot of times like the woman feels like it's almost like they just get in their head that my man's not, like maybe they're not doing anything wrong, but they just feel like, oh, he doesn't feel like a man. And so regardless, like both
Do you think if a
perspectives are
woman
conflict.
makes more money and in the relationship, she's like, I'm fine with like the guy maybe not making as much as me. I get whatever I do for profession is bringing a lot more money.
The guy will always feel like he's not being
Do you
enough.
think that there could be easier levels to build up resentment if the guy is ever doing anything that isn't like striving? Like it's like if he's ever like just watching TV or something, it's like, why aren't you trying to be more?
Why aren't you trying to do more what I'm doing, or trying to get where? Yeah, 100%. I think that's like the biggest like.
But I also do. Guys do in general optimize or want. What I think most guys, you ask them, and they would like to have like a feminine girl who likes to like take care of them and do those things. And I think society has pushed. And there's not good or bad. There's still plenty of women who do all different types of things. But I think also a lot of guys feel like, well, then I'm gonna like go put myself through all this work to become an option, and then the girls are just hoes that I have access to now. They're like attractive, but they don't have like the traditional family values that I would want them to have. So I think there's a lot of reason for men to be frustrated, but for women as well. I mean, the whole dating scene and relationship dynamics are definitely, I feel like if we could rewind it back to even like our parents' generation, it would probably be a healthier like place for families and for love and for romance.
I feel like women would just be like, their biggest frustrations probably men just stop bitching about women and start working on yourself. You know?
Yeah. No,
that's what it comes down to.
It's not self-fulfilling prophecy, but it's a circular thing that one thing feeds into the other, feeds into the other, feeds into the other.
Did y'all see, speaking about guys being degenerates, there's an epidemic right now. I follow a Goob guy that like calls people out for like photoshopping their photos and stuff on. Yeah. There's an epidemic of OnlyFans girls putting on filters to make themselves look like they have Down syndrome.
What?
Look it up.
I've seen a few. No, I've seen
hundreds of them.
But they're doing it as I believe
they're keeping it up. It's not just one post. Like they're like building profiles where every photo, like you can't tell, like you think they might have Down.
So
it's a thing, dude.
I thought they were doing it as it's a viral piece of content on Instagram, because you see the girl from the back, she's got long hair and like a huge ass, and then she turns around and sees a Down syndrome face, and it's like that
maybe,
and that gets as a real 5 to 10 million views easy.
No, now so he posted like 6 of them, but he was posting that like there's OnlyFans, like they're like AI generated, but they're like real girls that are then putting a filter on, and every piece of content has that, and they're killing it.
Man,
they're making a shit ton of money.
I fucking hate the internet. Yeah.
So
shit that people do.
Yeah, now people are pretending to, because apparently it boosts. Same with okay, again, shows like guys are fucking degenerates. There's girls on OnlyFans that pretend to be trans because they found out they make more money if they're like really, really hot trans. If people think they're guys, they make more money than if they're not. Don't know where that part of the fucking market's coming from, but they're actually pretending to be trans because they make more money if guys thinks they have a dick.
Can we delete all social media except long form YouTube videos?
I'm for that.
Bing bong.
Bro, there's no... Long form didn't have filters and shit.
Yeah.
I think that's another part of the problem is like some of these girls don't leave their house. They never post a video. So all you see of them is photos with heavy filters and makeup on. And then they're getting comments on, you're so beautiful, you're so this. So they can live their whole lives in this fucking bubble that they created where they're a 10 out of 10. But like they're not, but you never see them in real life. They don't have any videos. You don't know.
Yep. Yeah, agreed.
Speaking of money, how do y'all...
Max, how much money would it take for you to show your butthole on OnlyFans? There's definitely a number. Right? Because all of us like knock the OnlyFans thing, but like realistically, if someone's like, hey, I'll give you $2 million to show me your asshole, like, all right.
To one person?
Are you
Or
saying
just to post it on the internet.
For $2 million?
To post it on your social media.
For $2 million, do I put my butthole on the internet?
Like you get to post it on your account.
For $2 million? Not even a chance.
$10 million.
No.
$100 million. I was gonna say you're out of your fucking mind.
Would you rather? Would it take more money to post your package or your butthole? What would you? What's more dear to you?
For $100 million, I don't care.
You post everything.
I'll do whatever you want.
We'll do a Down.
There's not a lot I wouldn't do for $100 million.
Down syndrome Joe.
I already got that.
Listen,
It's just my regular pictures.
I got a question on how each of us view long-term investments for like wealth. Christian, what like when someone's like, Christian, like how do you invest long-term like for your finances and wealth? Like what do you, what's your answer?
I got a great banker who is working on all that with me and keeping eyes on my stuff. I don't like to put a lot of my attention into, I like rather allocate that to somebody who's
Would you
trusted
are
for
you lower risk, lower reward, or higher risk with your money that you've already earned?
The money that I've already earned, like all of my 20s, I went more high risk, and it paid off pretty well. Now I'm kind of instructing to go a little more moderate. Yep.
Moderate. How do you guys look at like financial planning and like wealth building?
I'd just rather my money not shrink over time. You know, like making money is the hard part. I feel like I'm probably a little more low risk, low reward. Just like I more predictably watch the goose egg. Is it called the goose egg?
Yeah.
The nest egg.
The nest egg and the goose egg grow over time. I'd rather just see slight growth there than. Yeah, I think some of the first investments I made just didn't go so well. So
In what?
just in bad timing in stocks and stuff. But again, as we've talked about, now it's probably up 5-10 years later. But
Yeah, I look at like this. Just talking about like how the economy is dipping down in terms of like just strictly the stock market, not how it's affecting the average person, but like people who are just like investing into the market, and like this what is it, down 20
Depending on the sector, yeah.
from like all time peaks? It's like down.
It's like
But
9% overall.
But you look at
I looked at the 5-year graph, and the S&P is 100% over
Oh, yeah,
growth
no.
over
Yeah.
the last 5 years still, which is wild.
it's kind of one of those things. You look back at like COVID. I wasn't in the stock market, but like when it had that giant peak, and then now it's surpassed. But like it's up over 100% from when that crash, and you're kind of like, oh man, dude, if I'd put a whole bunch of money back when it crashed, like have so much more money now. Same kind of thing that like it definitely sucks in the short term, but like what's happening right now, like if you do have cash, you're not gonna be able to time the exact bottom, but if you were like taking advantage of free cash, buying, assuming you're not betting against that the stock market for the first time in history is never going to go up again. Like you could go that route.
Yeah, I
but
mean, the U.S. is probably like failing as a country when that happens.
Then in the long run, the money that you're putting in during this whole crash or whatever, like in 5 to 10 years, this won't matter, right? Or like ideally, assuming it stays on trend of what it's done, that like the money that you invest now, whether how much you're down, as long as assuming you don't sell, but like the stocks that you buy, in 5 to 10 years, you'll probably be like, wow, I'm very glad that I bought during that time or I didn't sell during that time. And that's why it's like, even with the money that I'm down in the stock market, and I'm down a lot, I'm kind of like, it's like, oh, as long as you weren't planning on touching it for like 20 years anyway, it really doesn't matter. Besides the emotional aspect of like looking at it,
it's still messing with you. Though.
I just don't.
Yes.
Max has been mentioning it to me about it's 8 to 10 times a day.
I just don't look at the money.
No, I say
I purposely will just don't look. I don't
log into that part of my account usually.
I haven't. Let me dive in my journey.
Wait, real quick.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I've been living like a fucking teenager until like this year, really.
What?
Like I've been like living the like, oh, I don't need a 401k, I don't need to save money and shit. I'm very cash flow positive, but I buy a lot of shit. I just blow through. So really the last I'd say like the last 2 years, the first time that I'm looking at like how do I build wealth long term? Because now I'm starting to be like, all right, I'm fucking 30. If I have a kid in the next year or two, like I gotta save up for that little fucker. Like, oh, and like now I'm starting to like my own mortality is starting to, like what happens if I 10 years from now I get hit by a bus or something, like what happens to my kid? Like now that's starting to actually like stress me out of like long-term wealth building instead of just like right now. I've always been like, oh, I want to spend X amount. Well, I have Y amount coming in this month. Who cares? Let it go. Now I'm starting to be like, oh, I don't really have any liquid.
I'll tell you why.
I have a house and shit, but I don't have.
The younger that you are, it's hard. I'd say especially when you're in your early 20s and really in 20s in general, but especially early to mid 20s, it's really hard to think about your future self. Like it's really hard to think about your 50, 60-year-old self because like you're like, that's so far away. But when you become when you become 30, and especially if maybe money's not as flowing in as much, it's like you're closer to those like older ages, obviously.
I think also when you start to see your parents
age,
they're kind of like older now, then that's when you really
Or
start
dependence. Like when you start realizing like Sophia is relying on you to not fuck shit up
having
now.
a baby as well.
Like if you make a bad investment, potentially could affect your daughter, like now that's a lot more stress than just like, oh, if I don't make as much money next year, who really cares? I'll figure it out.
35. You guys are young.
30.
32.
I think like planning for your future is super important. And the way I look at it now is like once you figure out, like I've learned like with investments, it's a lot about literally just having these like different buckets. And a lot of them for me now is you have equities, which is stocks, right? Then you have like fixed income, which is like standardized income coming in. That could be from like municipal bonds, treasuries, T-bills, like these kind of things where it's like a consistent cash flow, but it's not equities in the market. And then you maybe just have like free cash, but
Crypto.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different streams, and really just depend. You know, you have alternate investments.
Wait, has crypto gone way down?
It hasn't moved as much.
Throughout my whole 20s,
20% down too.
No, but I mean over the year, yeah.
Throughout my whole 20s, as soon as I hear the word buckets, I just like, I'm like, oh God, here we fucking
fucking boomer Max.
But let me say,
Yeah, but it shouldn't.
But my real life experience, I guess, would be in your 20s. Just worry about making it. Like, try to fucking make as much money as possible. And I think, yeah, you're right. Like at 30, that's when I kind of started. Like, okay, let's.
I was gonna say, when did you start?
Let me start really looking at my margin, be sure we're healthy. Like, but in my 20s, like, and it's not like I was intentionally doing it, but I just happened to like go full out, full steam, and like I'm grateful I did. I'm grateful I wasn't like, oh, I need to be more conservative now when I'm 23.
You have time on your side. So
yeah, it's like that's your time to be as risky as fuck as in your 20s.
Yeah, because you were like 100% investing in yourself.
100%.
I mean, you'd make millions, but immediately put it right back into the company.
Every
and have
dollar.
nothing left.
Yeah.
So you say like 30 was when you were like, maybe I should
30
start
was when
putting a little bit aside.
30 is when I had a reality check of like, oh, I got to keep an eye on like the health of the business and the margin.
A lot of people are like chasing different levels of like wealth, and they want to be rich. But true wealth is literally just when your income, right, outpaces like your expenses. Like if you have enough money coming in that is beating what your bills, that you're doing well. But when you start investing money, and the money the passive income you're getting from your investments is superior to your bills, that's like what wealth is, right? And then wealth building is like continuing to put money into these buckets that you like are so stressed out about. Because like
I always call it like in me and Heidi's pot, and I know our pot's going into buckets. It's just I don't like to worry about the buckets.
Yeah, but like as you get older, I mean, I'm like, it's funny if you looked at all my portfolios, you think that I don't know what I'm doing, but like I'm like fascinated by finance and like wealth, and maybe it's like as I've started gaining more money, but I think it's just such a fascinating like mechanism and like the way that you do things, and just being able to like different things where it's like you had these different buckets because you don't want to put everything into maybe the stock market when it goes down like 20%. So you want to have stuff that's safer, and you're hedging against these bets of like, uncertainty in the market in the world, where you have, different things, and it balances it all out. But the idea is that like one of them, if one crashes, it shouldn't stress you out, because the money that you're putting in is money that's like a long-term type of investments, which is like what ideal, especially you like make as much in your 20s, and then in your 30s you should really start like allocating and like understanding, because you really should just map out like how much money you need per month to your lifestyle, your bills, whatever, and then really all your free cash like should be put into like investments of some sort, whether it be stocks. I mean, ideally you put money in the market, because ideally you put money into the economy, and ideally the economy is like fueling, and like you want people to invest into the market because that's what raises the economy. But it's tough times out here right now. But these times, like if y'all are listening to this pod and like you're thinking about getting into the market, like
Dollar cost average, though.
dollar cost average, yeah,
Which,
for sure.
if you're someone who's never invested before, decide how much you want to invest this year, and then each week, let's say the same on Monday, and divide it into 52, the amount of weeks. Is a very simple example, right? And then you just put the equal amount in, because that way, as it goes up and goes down, you take advantage of the full market growth versus investing a bunch at the top, as we've oft probably done.
Yeah,
by
well,
accident.
what's funny is data actually supports that technically over the long term. Like data supports that lump summing generally beats dollar cost averaging over time. But I think dollar cost averaging is probably
it's like mentally more
correct.
Less, you're gonna have less stress and anxiety. Yeah.
Yes. I lump summed not too long ago, and stressful times.
Like shit happens, dude.
I think I'm gonna lump sum next week.
Yeah,
I mean, it does. So right now it's the tariff scare. It was COVID before that. It was the '08 reset. There's always a fucking reset. I always looked at it like shit. Like something needs to happen. It sounds bad, but I was like something needs, because like dude, when the market's at 42,000, I don't put any money in. Like
No,
you look at it that way, and it does eventually go
the
up.
last 2 years, I've put it more into treasuries and money market funds.
Like-
Kind of waiting for something like this.
See, and it's like I'm guilty of that too because the argument would be like when it's at 40,000, I don't want to fucking invest, but then it goes to 42,000, like shit, I should have invested. But yeah, I think a lot of people, like at least for me, it's like I've just been waiting, sitting on cash for something to happen to then okay, now I'll dump my cash.
Well, I'll probably dollar cost average now, a lump sum dollar cost average over the next few weeks.
Too, with the tariffs, it's so scary because like we just got hit with this huge downfall because of the scare. Now the real tariffs start, then another set next week. So like this could go on for another fucking month.
Yeah, but the
we could
problem
open
is-
Monday and go up 20% because it's not that bad, or we could open Monday and it drops another 20% because oh my god.
Well, Monday nothing's going to happen, I don't think.
Well, yeah, the tariffs start today.
Yeah, but we're not going to have data about that on Monday.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
Unless 10 countries come out and say, hey, we dropped it, then the market,
It's so uncertain right now that, like, as much as I want to be like, dump all your money in the stock market right now, like, dude, it could drop another 20% in the next fucking month.
But Trump is flirting with the war with Iran, and that will also fuck up the entire global economy.
All I got to worry about right now is on $2 million of product coming over, I got another $680,000 I got to worry about right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
You have $2 million on the boat?
Oh, I'm just making that up. It's way more.
So you have to increase your prices, right? Like your margins aren't strong enough to absorb
We're gonna have
600
to. We're gonna
grand.
have to go launch by launch and just look at.
You think this first-
at new product coming in?
Yeah.
If that's landing higher, when we do our formula to get how much we need to charge, it's
gonna be higher.
Like even if it's the same item that's existing on the site right now, we won't adjust anything that's already on the site. But like new items may have an increase.
Yeah.
because you can't eat.
I can't. Yeah, we can't eat
Well,
it.
even if you let's say you're a really good guy, you're going to eat it. You're only making 3% profit.
It'll just suck that if the higher prices completely turn off customers, and then that's the scary.
That's what we were talking to Pat about because our friend Pat was talking about like, hey, if this drives prices up, like I'll sell my like collectible cars and stuff because they're going to go up.
Yeah.
And it's like on the flip side, as somebody that's in that market, like I'm not buying. Like my answer to that is like I'm not paying $140 for a base 911. I don't give a shit. Like I don't think.
Well, that's why the deeper worry of the market right now is this stagflation, right?
Yeah, like consumers just stop buying.
Inflation hits, and the economy also stagnates because people are buying less. And
I think
could happen.
We saw that a little bit with the market yesterday. Was the commodities are the only things kind of holding, right? Like electricity, fucking toilet paper, Johnson, like companies that are doing things that you have to have are actually kind of okay. It's all the luxury goods and shit. Restoration Hardware is down like 60% in 2 days. That's the scary part of it is like, yes, like if you do have to start charging $200 for a pair of joggers, like
say $80 to be like fair.
See, like
80.
do people just stop buying the joggers when they go up 25%?
The thing is, Trump is such a business guy that I could see him in 2 months if none of the countries negotiate. I could see him coming up with some crazy mental
He'll claim a win
gymnastics.
somehow.
Yeah,
like this was a huge success.
Like we dropped the tariffs, but he'll do some mental gymnastics to
Yeah.
sell it to MAGA as a win, which maybe is still a win for the world. I mean, I'm down on some things Trump's done. I think this is worth a shot. But if it doesn't pan out well in the next few months, I hope he finds some way to justify dropping them.
I'll say on a luxury good, like I ordered a Cayenne, like a Porsche Cayenne, and they did call me the other day and said it was going to be no, just an S.
Wait, you did what?
But I just ordered a build just to like I don't have to buy it, but I just ordered one in the color
Is this
that I
what you
want.
do,
and
like
stuff.
in your off time?
Pretty much.
What they say.
But anyway, the point is they called me and it's
building
going
wealth.
up. It's going up $11,000 on the MSRP, so it's going from 131 to 142.
How much is 911 going up?
Dude, like 25. A base 911 starts at 132 now. It used to be 104.
Bro, you should take
105.
all your money out of the
2025
market.
jumps
Anything
and
not
buy
in here yet,
100
yeah.
911s.
I don't know. But yeah.
So but so as a consumer that's in that position, my initial response is like, I'm just not going to buy it.
Well, I've been telling Joe I've been thinking about buying 911, but now like I'm like I don't know.
See, and that's the scary part.
I'm
is
not
that
gonna,
people
I'm
are
not,
thinking like
I'm not
us.
in a rush to buy one. At least.
This is a much bigger problem than we think it
yeah.
is. Because if everyone has the mentality of like, I just won't buy anything for the next year, then like everything's going up 25%. I'm not buying anything I don't need.
That's the stagflation.
All the companies are fucked.
Yeah.
Outside of like your toilet paper and your food.
Trump is too much of his identity is too much of a businessman that I think he would step in and be like, all right, and the tariffs are gone now because this.
The only upside, there's a potential. I guess there was some caveat for chips. There's something that there's a small chance that chips might be exempt, and if that happens, we're about to moon on. Yeah, it's something about like Apple and a couple of other companies are like petitioning for an exemption on like silicon, like chips. And apparently there was something in the like wording of the tariffs that there's a possibility that he may exempt all of the technology side of it. Because companies like Apple literally, I mean, unless you want to pay $3,000 for an iPhone, like they're not going to be able to operate at all.
I thought Tesla would like skyrocket because they're like the only car company that's like
They're like the most American car company.
they're the most
Yeah.
American car company. You would think that
But they had a terrible, or not earnings, but their deliverables were so bad.
People have been burning Teslas in the streets and breaking
Well,
in.
and it was also so
God.
you don't realize the Model Y is not only the best selling Tesla, it's the best selling car in the world.
Do you see the new
Globally.
the redesign on it?
Yeah.
It looks a little
So
funky.
that's a little bit of this too, is like everyone's like, oh, the deliveries are so bad because of the protesting. And I'm like, no, like what actually happened was Tesla stopped making the Model Y for 3 months to change the lines to the new one.
Yeah.
So for 3 months, their best selling vehicle wasn't being produced. And that's the quarter we're looking at now of on like how many sales is based on that. I'm sure some of it has to do with the protests, but I'd also say like for every liberal that will no longer buy a Tesla, I now think there's like a Republican that is buying it. I don't know if that has as much of an effect as everyone wants to
But
claim
is
it
Tesla
does.
fully exempt? Because if they even use parts that come from other
I think
countries,
it's okay as long as it's built here.
Okay.
I thought the same thing, but I think it's okay. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. We need someone smarter than us to come on here and explain how.
no one's smarter than us.
Because yes, if the parts come from China, like are those parts taxed? Or if they're coming here to build something here, can you get around it?
the problem is whatever. We're going to repeat ourselves, but it's going to screw people who inflation affect a lot, and it's going to screw small businesses at least in the short term.
I think luxury goods are fucked. Like I'm not buying if a Rolex goes up 20 grand, I'm just not gonna buy a Rolex.
No, the 911 is a
down.
perfect example. I'm kind of out of the market now, probably.
Yeah, I'm just not building my house.
Like high end clothing.
Lumber from Canada.
See, that's already priced in. We've already been dealing with that. That's what I was telling him because we were talking about how it affects the cabinet shop, and at the moment, it really doesn't yet. Canada got hit with 10% on wood, but we haven't really seen it come through yet. And then like obviously your hinges and stuff come from China, but we're talking like 30 cents. It's not enough to actually affect.
But like windows and stuff, that's all usually made in the States. Yeah.
Yeah. So like for you building your house, it may not affect as much as you think. It's the furniture and the TVs and the it's all the shit that goes into the house. It's
I'm
gonna be
getting
way more
everything
expensive.
from IKEA.
Perfect.
IKEA is not made in the U.S. No, right? No, I don't think it is.
It's not an American brand, but I don't know if it's made. They might have it, but
Yeah.
you know.
I don't know, man. World's going to shit.
Swedish brand. It's a Swedish brand.
But anything else you guys want to chat about? Tomorrow's gender reveal.
Oh yeah,
Real exciting.
Everyone, last guess. He can't say because he knows. But
Girl.
I say girl too.
Max.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a girl.
All right.
Stone face.
Stone faced, man. But and then right after that, then we start planning for the nursery. I'm moving my office from downstairs to upstairs.
How's having a dog?
Huh?
I feel like we like briefly touched on you getting a second dog, but then we really haven't got any updates. Yeah,
She's cool. We thought
she's a crackhead.
Yeah, I thought like for some reason she would be like really similar to Dude as she got older because she'd be like spending all her time with Dude, and Dude's super calm. As you can see, just he's not dead in the background right here. No, she's full puppy mode, which you expect, but she's got her own personality, like for sure. Really cute dog. Gets better every day. Still having a little struggle with potty training. So she's still crate training her at nighttime, but I can definitely tell she's getting better, but she's still having a little accident here and there. But no, she's really cool. Like I love her. She like loves Dude. She follows Dude around everywhere. So I just need to have Dude like call Dude over, and like she'll follow him everywhere. Everywhere I go, Dude follows me, and then everywhere the Dude goes, Dolly follows. So they essentially just all follow me around the house everywhere I go. But no, she's super cute. We weighed her this morning. She's 23 pounds. I thought she was going to be between 30 and 40, but she might be on the smaller side. But she's a good size. Any
How's the cat?
You get
Cat's great.
Yeah.
You gonna get another cat?
Cat guy. Sleeping with us every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do cats?
Cat guy.
Is it really well trained? Like, does it
Amazingly trained. Like
doesn't pee in the house or anything?
Never had one accident.
Just closets.
Just
furniture?
cats-
just knew to go in the litter box.
I was going to ask this because as a dog owner, I saw the other day Heidi post the cat was like half on the balcony, like half.
Yeah, he like gets.
And I'm
on
like,
the
as a
balcony.
cat owner, do you just look at that and you're like, oh, it's a cat? Because like if Cinna was ever like on a guardrail about to fall off a balcony, I'd be like, absolutely not, get her the fuck away. But like as a cat, you're just kind of like,
Yeah, his balance
just
is
being
real
a
good.
cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
9 lives, lands on his feet.
Yeah, no, right? Like when I was little, I remember like our friends had cats and they would like climb trees in the backyard and shit. I always be like, dude, you want to like, do you need to get your cat? And like, no, it's a cat. Like,
I am
it's just-
kind of
it's
nervous
just, like,
about letting him outside at the new house because there's
She's got
such
5 acres and
7.5.
Well, there's like
Yeah.
snakes and stuff.
Yeah, well, he just might like not come back.
or like get stuck in a tree or something.
You think it doesn't like love the house and you enough to
Well, like current
to know
house,
how-
yeah, but like when we move to the new house, I feel like he might like get too excited.
Well, does he get
adventure.
lost?
Yeah, I don't think he'll get lost. He's smart.
Do you have an outside cat because you want the cat to do like
He just
natural
likes stuff,
things?
yeah.
He wants to go outside, bro. He runs to the door every morning when he knows I'm taking Nala out to try to get out.
Oh.
He like wants to be in the bushes, wants to catch lizards, wants to.
We had an outside cat when I was growing up, and it lived to be like 14, and it just ate mice in the barn and stuff. Like,
We didn't even feed it.
no, we'd feed it, but like that was just its whole purpose was like it was a pet, but like it wasn't. You know, it's like different. It's like a working animal.
Are any of
It's
y'all
not a-
realistically within the next year going to get another animal? Me, no.
No.
No,
Once
I
you
wanted
get-
another Doberman, but
Once you get a baby, you start focusing more on the baby than the.
I think I'm a 2-dog family. I don't think I could do 3. 3 is starting to push the limit. 2's already a lot when you like need to go places and you have kids. But like
Two's
three,
good.
3 dogs, like you ain't taking 3 dogs to go eat anywhere.
Yeah.
2's cap.
But you think if you have a couple of kids, you'll still have 2 dogs? Yeah, probably.
If you have a couple kids, but then it's like you live on land. It depends on the way of life. But like
Yeah.
at the current state of like where I to the office, we have going to do a lot of things. We're traveling. Like 2's the peak for sure.
I chose a Doberman,
So you got 1.
which like in hindsight, like I love Senna more than anything, and she would never hurt a fly to me. But a little piece of me is like if you're like, hey, we're bringing Sophia over, can we leave her on the couch next to Senna and not worry about her? Like
Yeah.
she's never been around a baby. I don't know. I am a little worried that like when I have a child, like I don't think she would ever do anything. But also like it's not a doodle. Where like if I put my baby next to Dude, I'm not worried about it at all. But Senna, I'm like I don't know how she's gonna react to a baby. So having 2 Dobermans in the same house with a baby is probably not on my radar.
Yeah.
Dude, actually, apparently it was just Taylor and Julia at the house, and there were some contractors in the house, and I wasn't there, and I guess like one of the contractors like came around the corner, and Taylor said that dude like snarled, lunged at like one of the contractors, like she's like
that's
I've never
good.
seen anything like it, but cause she's like I think it's because you weren't here and it's like a random person, but like she's like I've never seen dude like almost attack like someone, but I was like, oh, kind of defense mode, I guess, but still not ideal. I don't know, man. Life's crazy. Stocks are down. These guys are anti-Trump now. It's been a crazy world. Anything you want to wrap up with?
Good podcast. Good
That was
time.
Oh yeah, how'd you rate this podcast?
This was a 9.
This was a 9?
I'm gonna say a 7.
8. I'm just gonna.
I think this was engaging.
What was your favorite part about it, Christian?
Hearing Joe defend Trump still on the tariffs.
Oh, you didn't give your opinion on Trump.
Yeah.
My
I think we
opinion on
know
Yeah.
based on
that
the other
statement.
I
comments,
mean,
yeah.
my thing is like this is just why I feel it's so important to not like when a candidate's running be
100%.
100% like into the candidate, but like yeah, you have to choose, right? But it's like when you are so that's why I think people are such like a person supporter. It's just like this is just such an easy time to be like told you so, told you so, told you so. You know what I mean?
But they're-
but that's why like I just always when we're going into the elections, just like to like still think of each kind of move.
But you got to
on
be
its
like,
own.
you got to realize, I guess, and remind yourself, like, they're politicians. They don't really individually give a fuck about any of us, right? They're like,
Yeah.
they're trying to run a campaign to get elected, and it's important to remember that sometimes. I
Like,
agree.
I'm gonna leave us on this. Trump's whole slogan was "Make America Great," right?
No, America first, which he's already failed on that.
My point is, I think majority of we look at the average American. I think majority of voters for Trump were voting for a major change
Yeah.
because they weren't happy with how the country was currently moving. I think a lot of us are very comfortable with where it's been moving. We would have been fine if Biden got 4 more years, or Harris got 4 years, and nothing changed, and the stock market kept climbing, and no changes made to anything. We'd be fine. But the average American that's looking at like this is the worst it's ever fucking been. I think they're all for this. So on that.
I don't think they're
think we
for it
just let
right
it
now,
go.
but I think we should have to see what happens.
No, I think they are. Like I said, I don't think they give a shit about what's happening right now. We voted for this. He said he was going to do it.
Yeah.
So on my perspective, I'm like, give him a chance to do it. I could be. He made this may be the worst thing that's ever happened. We go into recession and he'll go down in history as the worst president of all time. But
In your
let it
words,
happen.
what would be the process of happening if like like what triggers? What would you consider to be like a recession?
I think if the tariffs go into effect and the average consumer
it's
decides
just-
they're not buying anymore, then we go to stagflation inevitably.
A recession is just if GDP declines in 3 consecutive quarters, I want to say. There's some technical definition for it, but it's just essentially when the economy shrinks instead of grows
And then how does one get out of the recession?
by the economy growing again.
Typically, they drop
interest
fucking
rates,
interest rates
yeah, so you
and
can get free money.
stimulate
Yeah.
growth in the economy. During the recession, we got stimulus checks to help stimulate the economy.
COVID was a recession.
I don't know if it. I think it reached it for one quarter that it was technically a recession.
I mean, COVID was a almost 10,000 point drop in the Dow, 9,000 points or something.
Well, Thursday or Friday was the worst day in the market since COVID.
Mm-hmm. But even then, we're still at, I think, what are we at, 39,000 or something?
I look at VU, bro. I don't know.
We're still way up. Even VU's still at 500.
460.
No.
Yeah.
No, I looked the other day. It was like,
Nope.
Well, if you didn't look on Friday,
God.
it changed.
Oh, yeah.
it's not 460.
Yup.
This is why I don't look at these things and just focus on what I got to do to stay.
The price of VU, which tracks the index of the S&P 500, right? The price that it's right now is the same price that it was 1 year ago. So if you start investing 1 year ago, you have made $0. If you have invested any time after exactly 1 year ago, you are now down money. So like basically everyone's like, oh, on average the market should go up 7%, 8%. Like now it's gone up 0% in the past year.
Hey, dude. Never forget when I bought AMD
That's on average.
at 115.
Don't ever forget when I bought a whole bunch of VU at 560.
560 to 460 is not as bad as fucking 172, I think was the height of AMD, and now they're at 80 something. That's a big hit.
At least you didn't buy NMAX at 220. I guess if you know, you know. You don't even know what that was.
All right.
No.
Anyway, man, some people are gonna be like, I did it.
I broke the dam.
I broke the dam. All right, guys. We're gonna wrap this pod up. Let us know what you think about it. The 4-way pod. Are we doing this again? I go to. We doing another pod next weekend?
I'm out.
I leave Thursday.
I get back Saturday night, so technically Sunday morning I could.
Sunday? You back Sunday?
Back Monday night.
Well, I'm here again. I'm here again in 2 weekends.
But you're not here next weekend.
Next weekend I'm not here.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. You'll either get a pod or you won't. That'll wrap up this episode. Don't be sour. Thanks so much for tuning in. Any more sour strips never forward. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're on YouTube. If you're on any sort of podcast streaming service, get a 5-star review. Don't know what it does, but I think it helps. New episode every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern time, unless you don't get one.
Bye.
Peace.